Obama is getting criticism for comments that he made during the National Prayer Breakfast on Thursday. Some conservative Christians are furious after the president invoked Christianity when explaining how some use religion to justify doing evil things.
Humanity's been grappling with these questions throughout human history. And lest we get on our high horse and think this is unique to some other place, remember that during the Crusades and the Inquisition, people committed terrible deeds in the name of Christ. In our home country, slavery and Jim Crow all too often was justified in the name of Christ.
Let's bring in two voices now to talk more about this. The Reverend Susan Johnson Cook is a former U.S. Ambassador for International Religious Freedom, and Dr. Judy Jasser is the founder and president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy. Good to see both of you.
Thank you.
Oh, and also, I'm sorry, Dr. Jasser is also the author of A Battle for the Soul of Islam, an American Muslim patriot's fight to save his faith. All right, so Ambassador, to you first. What did the president mean, in your view?
He meant exactly what he said, that there have been those in our own history that have used religion to do terrible, evil things. As a descendant of those who were enslaved, you know, slavery and Jim Crow were not easy to live with. And as a descendant, you're talking about generations who follow that are still feeling the terrorism that happened on our own shores. So we can't deny history. Yes, we have to look forward in terms of what's happening now, but we cannot deny history, and that's very much a part of the American history.
And so, Dr. Jasser, what was the interpretation, particularly in the Muslim American community?
Well, I think it depends on which part of the community. We're a diverse ideological community, and from those of us who are reformers, I would tell you that, you know, today we need the help of those Christians, communities, and leaders like the leader of the free world who is leading a country that is post-modernity, that is post-liberty and freedom, that fought against theocracy, to help lift us up to the horse of liberty, away from jihad. The jihadists of ISIS don't come out of thin air. They're being produced by countries like Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, all the radical Islamist governments that infuse these ideas. So rather than the president tell us Muslims that we need to reform, he's sort of doing this equivalency and giving us a pass, and it makes reformers very difficult to have a seat at the table.
And then, Ambassador Cook, you know, the president's words and actions are being scrutinized in a few different ways from that breakfast. I mean, Chinese are mad that the fact that the president met with the Dalai Lama, and then these comments about the internal struggle within the Islamic community. Can he please everyone?
No, he cannot please everyone. I think one of the things that, you know, as ambassador for 3 years in the Obama administration, it was international religious freedom was my portfolio, and I had all 199 countries. There are problems throughout the world, and most of them stem from not just non-governed countries, as we talked about earlier in the show, but it also stems, we don't know the extent, because one of the things with extremism, as you said to your point, it's an ideology. So we don't know all of the places that it's developing. Some are in non-governed places, and some are in governed places. We have places here in the U.S. where people are being recruited for extremism. So whether you call it jihadism, extremism, Al-Qaeda, we're talking about people who use violence in very, very vivid ways. And some do it in the name of religion, but to kill others and to hurt others and to terrorize others.
And so, Dr. Jasser, you know, is this a case that, you know, while it may be bold to try to appeal to everyone, the president speaking about Christianity, trying to decipher what some are trying to do to Islam, you know, is that provocative in a good way, or do you believe that, you know, for the president of the United States it's just too risky? Should he have not gone there, or is it necessary in order to provoke thought and discussions like this?
Well, I think it's too dismissive. It's dismissing Muslims almost as, you know, not relevant, and telling Christians to get down off their high horse when in fact it's backwards. We need to focus and have an intervention past the denial. I mean, to hear Secretary Kerry today not mention Islam and say violent extremism, it gives a pass to the political ideologies, the theopolitical ideologies of all Islamic, all theocrats that create this, and then you don't enable the very reform movements that need to be enabled by President Obama and Secretary Kerry, and instead it becomes sort of dismissive. Well, we had our problems, the Crusades, etc. Don't worry. And it almost infantilizes Muslims rather than telling us, you're adults, let's reform and gather those who want liberty.
Doctor,
well, where do we
Okay.
Dr. Jasser, where do we come together? I mean, there's extremism in every faith, and if he said nothing, then he would have been criticized, and because he said something which is historically accurate, he's also criticized. So where do you suggest that we come to the table together?
Ambassador, you're 100% correct. We need to meet halfway, which is to say that we can't demonize all Islam because you'll alienate Muslims like me. However, we also need to engage and realize that we have a problem and name it, because it's an ideology that's going to be a long war, and you can't engage in a long, cold war against radical Islam and political Islam unless we own up to where we meet halfway.
All right, Dr. Judy Jasser and Ambassador Susan Johnson Cook, thanks to both of you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.